We're discussing this annual theme about manifestation memory. In that, I had you pick something to work on this year. I would not suggest it being like, I don't know, like the Taj Mahal, although, hey, if that's what you wanted to manifest, then go for it. But something that you could just play with. Again, we want to make this thing light and fun and fluffy. So it's just like pick something and say, oh, yeah, I think I'm going to play with this thing. Again, why? Because we're all manifesting every single moment, every single day, all the time. And what we decided was, well, it's just a matter, do you want to do it consciously or unconsciously? I have found for my own life, it's a lot more fun to do it consciously because God knows I spent enough time doing it unconsciously and it wasn't very pretty. Why? Well, because inside of my subconscious mind, I had all these old programs running that told me I wasn't worthy, I wasn't good enough, I couldn't have what I want, God wasn't listening to me, and basically I sucked. And I know that's kind of strong, but that's the truth. That's what it felt like inside of me to be living in that, right? Until, voila, unity. And then all of a sudden it's like you start to realize you start playing with these principles, and all of a sudden you're going like, well, wait a minute. You mean there's something I can do about this stuff? And it's like, you betcha. You better believe it. So we started talking about this particular set was this idea of talking about design your manifestation blueprint or chart your path to success. And last week, we spent some time talking about Myrtle Fillmore, how Myrtle did it. And we talked about her affirmation, I'm a child of God, therefore I do not inherit sickness. And we talked about this idea of her understanding finally that she could do something. Specifically, she could start directing her thoughts. And in The Power of Decision, Raymond Charles Baker says, you cannot progress on the basis of the ideas that you are now directing, that are now directing your thinking, your feeling, nature. So what he, in a sense, is saying, and what Myrtle realized, was that the same thinking that got me where I'm at right here is not going to be the same thinking that's going to get me to where I want to go, especially if you're wanting to do a little something different. How many people here in some way, fashion, or form want to do something a little bit different in their lives? Good, good, good. Not that there's anything wrong with fully, in the present moment, accepting where you're at. In fact, I would say you have to do that. Just for a moment, doesn't mean it's going to be forever, but accepting where you're at is not a bad idea for a moment until all of a sudden you go, wait a minute, I want to start playing with this stuff. And that's what that's what happened to Myrtle. She all of a sudden realized, well, this thinking's not going to get me where I want to go because look where it got me. So in other words, I'm going to have to start changing my thinking. And that's what she did. So we talked about her blueprint last week. We talked about the idea that in that moment, when all of a sudden she realized, hey, there's something I can do about this. And she started off with the decision. She quit being a victim. She accepted who she truly was. And for those of you that weren't here last week, I spent much more time on these. And you can go back and watch the replay from last week. So I'm not meaning to rush through this, but I'm just sharing this with you, right? She believed that everything she needed was inside of her. She believed she could change. She quit believing the lies that she'd been telling herself. And she understood her beliefs were creating her reality and began changing them. All at one time. All at one time. That's how fast it can change. Unless, of course, you don't believe it can change that fast. Then, guess what? It doesn't happen that fast. Yeah, but wait a minute, I got to go through therapy, I got to go through this, I got to go through that, I got to do this, I got to do all these affirmations, Okay. If that's what you think. Don't have to think that. So, I started thinking about this, and here's what I'm going to share, and I shared this last week, but it's kind of one of those things where it's like, but she wasn't done. And so I want to complete this. So I'm going back to the 3 stages of the creation process, her mind, idea, expression. We talked about this, right? What I said last week, but I didn't show it, was we go back to the mind. Metaphysically, what is the mind? The mind is basically God. So the mind part of this, I want you to imagine, is it's there. It's omniscient. What does omniscient mean? All-knowing. And guess what? It's inside of us. It's all there. It is literally all there. It's sitting there, waiting to be used. But here's the thing. It's not going to force itself upon you. Why? Because you have free will and you're a divine being. So it's not going to force itself upon you, but what I'm telling you right here, right now, is it's inside of you and you have access to it. If that's what you want, and if that's what you want to use, you can use that. And it can become a huge part of your life. So, Myrtle's hanging out, she's sitting there, and all of a sudden she goes, hey, I can do something about this, and that's when we talked about what? Directive power. What is directive power? Her going, hey, I get it. There's this thing out there, but I need to do something with it. I need to move it. That's directive power. I was reading in The Power of Decision, and just bear with me, because he's talking about this idea where somebody has problems, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, how do you change it? And here's what he said. He said, shift your attention from your concern with the problem and give the same amount of thinking and feeling to your awareness of yourself as intelligence in action. I'm going to highlight that. Your awareness of yourself as intelligence in action. So in a sense, what is he saying you need to become in order for this to happen? Intelligence in action sounds a lot like your divinity, your power. That's what it sounds like. And that's exactly what he was talking about. And you know what? That's exactly what Myrtle did. She all of a sudden shifted her awareness to herself as intelligence in action. She realized that she had a say in what was going on. She stepped fully into her power and claimed it. That is what she did. And it doesn't mean it's done egoically. It's not like, well, look at me in this bag. Look at me. It's not like that, folks. It's not. But you are a divine child of God. You have that blood coursing through your veins right now. Right now. It's there. 100%. But you've got to claim it. You've got to own it. You've got to start using it if you really want to. So you don't have to do anything. Perfectly fine. If it's like, whoa, that's a lot. Too heavy. Like, I get it. I mean, God knows I felt that way in my life. But as I start stepping fully back into my power and realizing, no, I can say something about this. I can do something about this. I can heal. I can change. I can make a difference in my life. Then it feels like this new source of energy is flowing, starting to flow through me at a really, really, really high level. And my belief, and Myrtle's belief, and Jesus' belief, was that every single person sitting in here right now or watching us online can do the same thing. The exact same thing. 100%. They can do it, right? So she started to see herself as intelligence, right? She even says in her book, How to Let God Help You, life has to be guided by intelligence. She knew, right? How do we communicate intelligence? By thinking and talking, of course. So for Myrtle, she was like, oh my God, I just got to start thinking and talking. That's all I have to do to direct it. That's directive power that we're talking about, right? She still wasn't complete. She still wasn't complete, right? So, what did she have to do? She had to slow down enough to do a mental and emotional inventory of where she was at and be honest with herself. She started looking at her past. She started thinking about what she'd been telling herself and her body and everything else like that, what her connection with God was, what her connection to life was, what her connection to the earth was, everything. She slowed down and she did a mental and emotional inventory. Where am I? And then all of a sudden she was like, whoa, what a mess. Anybody ever been there? If you're not raising your hand, you're lying. Or you're asleep. I don't totally understand that as well. So she realized that her thoughts were the things that were causing her problems, and she began to change them, right? And so how did she do that? Simple. She just started paying attention. She became aware what she was thinking, what she was feeling. Don't forget the feelings, please, dear God. If you're not feeling something, you're stuck here, by the way. Side note, and you don't want to do that without your feelings. You want to get into your heart and feel what's really going on inside of you, right? So that's what she did. And then all of a sudden she said, well, these aren't working anymore. I don't want to use the same thinking that got me here. I want to change them. And she started working on her own thoughts, right? And so then, ba-ba, she comes up with a new affirmation. I'm a child of God, and therefore I don't inherit sickness. But that was only one of the things that she started thinking about. Remember, I said she needed to do an inventory. An inventory doesn't mean she only has one thought, one idea, one emotion. She had a lot, right? And I want to share with you what she said about that. So I think this is so cool. This is so cool, right? I told the life of my liver that it was not torpid, I don't even know what that word means, or inert, but full of vigor and energy. I told the life of my stomach that it was not weak or inefficient, but energetic and strong and intelligent. I told the life in my abdomen that it was no longer infested with ignorant ideas of disease, put there by myself and my doctors, but that it was all a thrill with the sweet, pure, wholesome energy of God. I told my limbs that they were active and strong. I told my eyes that they did not see themselves, but that they expressed the sight of spirit, and that they were drawing on an unlimited source. I told them that they were young eyes, clear, bright eyes, because the light of God shone right through them. I told my heart that the pure love of Jesus Christ flowed in and out through its beatings, and that all the world felt its joyous pulsation. I went to all the centers of my body and spoke the words of truth to them, words of strength, words of power. I asked their forgiveness for the foolish, ignorant course that I had pursued in the past when I condemned them and called them weak, inefficient, and diseased. I did not become discouraged at their being slow to wake up, but kept right on, both silently and aloud, declaring the words of truth until the organs responded. Neither did I forget to tell them that they were free, unlimited spirit. I told them that they were no longer in bondage to the carnal mind, that they were not corruptible flesh, but centers of life, energy, omnipresent. Then I asked the mother, to forgive me for taking his and her life into my organism and using it so meanly. I promised God that I would never, ever again retard the free flow of life that flowed through my mind and body by any false words or thoughts, that I would always bless it and encourage it with the true thoughts and words in its wise work of building up my body temple, that I would use all diligence and wisdom in telling it just what I wanted it to do. I also saw that I was using the life of God in thinking thoughts and speaking words, and I became very watchful as to what I thought and what I said. I did not let any worried or anxious thoughts into my mind. I stopped speaking gossipy, frivolous, petulant, angry words. I let a little prayer go off every hour that Jesus Christ would be with me and help me to think and speak only kind, loving, true words. And I'm sure that he was with me because I am so peaceful and happy now. Pretty powerful stuff. Pretty powerful lady. Pretty incredible, I would say. But she's given us, in a sense, a blueprint for this thought or this idea of creation, right? She's not done yet. She's not done. I want to go back to what she said. I did not become discouraged at their being slow to wake up, but I kept right on, both silently aloud, declaring the words of truth until the organs responded. In other words, folks, this isn't a one and done deal. Now, I'm not saying that there isn't a possibility of a miraculous healing or something changing instantaneously in your life, but my life experience has taught me that this is a process. And how long is the process going to take? I don't know for you how long it's going to take. I don't know what you got going on or what you're trying to change. But just know, Myrtle gives us the exact answer. How long is it going to take? Until they respond. So in other words, she continued to change her inner world. That's what we're talking about here. She worked on her inner world until when? The outer world changed. That's how she did it. She didn't sit there and go, well, geez, how long is it going to take? Because, I'm a busy person. I got stuff to do. I only got a couple of days for this crap to work out. Otherwise, I'm out of here. That isn't what she did. In some ways, I just think there was a lot of motivation with her because, I don't know, she had a death sentence. It was tuberculosis back in the late 1800s. She might have been a little motivated. Maybe. What do you think? And so she was motivated to stay on it. But what I'm saying is all of us, I think, me, Mike, I get into the stuff and I think, okay, I'm willing to try it. What the heck? Why not give it a whirl? And then I start working on it and then I'm like, come on. Anybody been there? Yeah. Stop. Stop doing that to yourself. Stop doing that to your soul. You don't have any idea, none of us have any idea how much stuff we got to clear out. We have no idea. Don't even get me started talking about past lives that might be impacting what's happening right now, right? We don't know. None of us do. So what do? Keep doing the work. Keep doing whatever you need to do and just keep going and keep going and keep going and keep going. Until what? It happened, right? For Myrtle, 2 years. 2 years. That's what it took her to completely eliminate everything and heal herself. The cool thing about that 2 years, guess what she had when she was done after 2 years? I don't know, a blueprint on how to have stuff manifest in her life. And she became a powerhouse. Truth is, she always was a powerhouse. She just forgot. But then she became a powerhouse. And then what did she do? I don't know. Shared it with Charles. And then, boom, the rest is history, right? So when I look at the rest of the blueprint, if you will, I want to say that she added a couple of things to the list I had last week. So first of all, she shifted her awareness into she was absolute intelligence in action. She continuously told herself, I am intelligence, I am intelligence, I am intelligence, I am intelligence, I am God, I am God, I am God. I've got the same things inside of me. I got it, I got it, I got it, I got it. So she shifted her awareness. She took a mental and an emotional inventory. Yep, she sure did. And then what? She created new thoughts and ideas to replace the old ones. Yeah, why? Where do you think she got those thoughts from? Do you really think those were hers? They weren't. Do you really think the stuff that's running your life, the reason you act like you act, especially when you're not at your brightest, let me just say that, and I'm being kind, and I'm being compassionate and caring, because I care, but the truth is, the majority of the stuff that at least was inside of me did not come from me. It came from my parents, it came from society, it came from religion, it came from everything else but moi. And then when all of a sudden I realized this, then it was like, whoa, we got some work to do. Let's go start cleaning this crap out. And so that's what she started to do. And she replaced the old ones, right? She continued to change her inner world until her outer world changed. Oh, okay. So I just got to keep going. Yeah, just keep going. And it's okay. And have in the meantime, compassion, grace, self-love, all those things are so necessary. They're just so necessary because doesn't life get hard sometimes? Mm-hmm. Don't we forget sometimes? Yeah, we forget. All of those things. And you know what? It's perfect. You're perfect. Absolutely. Your timing is perfect. When you wake up is absolutely perfect. When you start doing this work is perfect. There's no mistakes here. Well, I know, Mike, but my God, you've been doing this. Who cares how long I've been doing it? Who cares? Really, I mean that sincerely. Who cares? The good news is maybe now this is something that touches your heart and goes, yeah, I think I want to start doing this work. And if you do, cool. Don't have to. We should here. We don't do that. It's just an invitation. It's just an invitation, right? Cool. So now let's take a look at this big old list that we've got. This is the entire blueprint. So for you people that like taking pictures of the blueprint, you can take those pictures now. But that is the entire manifestation blueprint that Myrtle used to change her life, and I think it's a pretty awesome blueprint. Question, is this the only blueprint? It's not. It's not. There may be one or two of those things in there where you look at and go, bleh. Okay, then don't use it. Some of you might be really good at manifesting stuff right now, and if you are, keep doing it. Rock on. But if you're kind of new and you're kind of going like, I'd like to have an idea, can you give me something? Not a bad place to start. Really not a bad place to start, right? So, Myrtle did some pretty amazing things. Jesus did some pretty amazing things. And so many others have done some pretty amazing things. You have done some pretty amazing things. The only thing that I would say is, wouldn't it be a little bit more fun to sit back and really decide what you want to create in your life versus not creating it or just doing it subconsciously and just let that thinking just continue without doing anything? It starts with a choice, folks. It starts with a choice. Jim, can I have my slides back, please? So I just wanted to share a couple of final thoughts with you. This affirmation, can we say this one together? I am pure intelligence, always acting intelligently. And then I'm going to share a really long one with you, but it was really, really good, and I just wanted to share this one with you. So together we say, I exist in and forever one with infinite spirit, the infinite mind. This mind is forever evolving new ideas of itself, and these ideas are in my consciousness now. I am the means by which they appear. These ideas I now welcome. All subconscious opposition to them is now negated in my mind. I want, need, and have God's fresh ideas. They are my mental nourishment. They give me new directions. They lead me to the right decisions. How's that one feeling? That's a smoker. That's a good one. Yeah, it's a good one. Use it. Use it. Use it. Until when? Here's the test. It shows up. It shows up. That's how long you use it for, right? So, this is Manifestation Mastery. Next quarter, because we do these every quarter, I check in, we're going to be talking about aligning your thoughts for success, and I'm going to go deeper into the process of that and how it works. So stay tuned for that. I also wanted to just spend a minute and talk about those of you who are going to be celebrating Holy Week. What an incredible story, and we're going to be diving into that story a little bit more, obviously, on Easter. What I just want to bring to your attention is don't forget, like this journey that Jesus took started several weeks ago. And the Holy Week is a culmination of that. So I think sometimes people get focused on, well, yeah, we're just going to focus on the last week of it, but it's like, no. He's been going for a while now. So the Holy Week is when everything kind of happens, but he's been building up. And just like that process, and again, it comes down to the process, is basically this is a culmination of it. And so we're going to be talking about that next week. For those that are going to be celebrating Holy Week, it's, and this is Palm Sunday. Normally I make a little bit of a bigger deal and I get palms and I do a metaphysical interpretation and all that stuff. It just, today felt like today. So I trusted Spirit that it needed to go where it needed to go. Next week, we'll talk a lot about Easter and I think a little bit of a different take other than Jesus hanging on the cross. And it's no disrespect, but I mean, it's, you guys know I love Jesus. And I honestly think he'd be laughing if he were standing right next to me right now. Like, Mike, did you just really? Yeah, I just did. And anyways, he's always a super, I love Jesus a lot. So anyways, having said that, don't ever forget who you are. You're a beautiful light of God. You're powerful beyond your wildest imagination. Thank you, Gretchen. Thank you. You are so needed. You are so loved. We are so grateful to have each and every one here this morning to share your energy with us. We are really super blessed and really super lucky. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. God bless. Happy Holy Week. We'll see you next Sunday. Love you. At this time, we take our love offering in our hands. For those of you that gave your time, your talent, your treasure, we're grateful. We wouldn't be able to do what we do here without you being here. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Together we say, divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive.
Hey, it's Reverend Mike here. I just wanted to stop for a moment before you get on with your day and thank you so much for spending time with us this morning. It means the world to us, and I just wanted to let you know if there's anything that we can do to make your experience even better, please do not hesitate to reach out by going to our website. I also wanted to offer you the opportunity for us to get together and sit down so I could get to know you a little bit better and answer any questions that you have. I can either do that by either getting together in person, have a cup of coffee, or we can meet online via Zoom. If you're interested, please don't hesitate to reach out. You can reach me at michael@courage2thrive.com. And lastly, if you find these messages are helping you, we would be tremendously grateful if you'd consider donating to the center. The best and the easiest way to do that is simple. Just go to our website. Again, thank you so much. Hope you have a great day. Hope you're doing well. God bless, and we hope to see you soon. Bye-bye now.